Hi everyone, my name is Ayonnah Tinsley and I actually just graduated from the University of Southern California. I studied arts, technology, and the business of innovation, but I like to just call my major spicy entrepreneurship. And even though it's a very non-traditional engineering major, it just still has a lot of tech involved, and also SWENext led me here. So I first joined SWENext back in 2019 was when I first joined the advisory board. This was when I was either a sophomore or a junior in high school. So very much like along early in my STEM career. And what first interested me in science, technology, engineering, and math was airplanes. I absolutely loved traveling as a kid, but more importantly, I loved the Air and Space Museum and learning so much about the history and how people traveled. This would actually end up being my very first job in high school too. So shout out to the Air and Space Museum in DC and in Chantilly, Virginia. And where SWENext came into all of this was really helping me build the skills and resources I needed so that I knew what engineering or what taking these classes would be like in college. So one of my fondest memories of SWE in general, but how it still ties into SWENext, was actually getting to go to New Mexico in my freshman year through SWE. So joining SWE in college was really cool because I also got to meet a lot of other students that were involved in SWENext, or there were students that didn't have SWENext chapters in their hometowns. So we got to tell them about it and hopefully encourage them to tell their hometown friends to start a new chapter there. Or even for international students, start a new chapter in their home country because it's so cool that SWENext really has a global presence. It was really amazing that although, like I said, I'm from Virginia, that's where I got my start in STEM, and then I graduated from school in LA. Lots of miles apart, but no matter what, my SWE and SWENext family was able to follow me like all the way across the country, and just so cool that I was able to build so much community by going to the WE local conference, where I believe I actually got to meet some of my fellow board members, reconnect with some of them once again once I got to college. So SWENext really does follow you everywhere in the best possible way. But to close this off, some advice that I would share to anyone that is already in a SWENext chapter or about to join one is to never just put yourself in a box in what you think engineering can do. I think my biggest piece of advice is I actually graduated as well with a sports media minor. What does that have to do with engineering? Well, I'll tell you right now. From sports to makeup to fashion to anything else you could think of, these all have such a huge presence in engineering, technology, chemistry, etc. I think that when you start to combine your passion for STEM and engineering with some of the things that more people might think is a lot more fun or accessible to get into, like art, makeup, and sports, you get to create an entirely new hobby or just make your hobby even more unique to yourself. And this is where I see SWENext going in the next 10 years. I see SWENext becoming a lot more interdisciplinary and really just starting to speak to a lot of the majors, a lot more different majors that you'll start to see at schools like USC too. I majored in arts, technology, and business. Other people majored in computer science and business. We call that CSBA. It's a super popular major. So just excited for the whole world to become a lot more engaged in mixing engineering with everyone's favorite hobbies.